We're just a couple of days out. In fact, today is December 11th, 2013. Just a couple of days out from the day I put my girl down, which was December 9th. Hardest day of my life, no doubt. And every time I come home, well, let me tell you this. My crying has decreased, thank God. I had some bouts today around lunchtime, but haven't cried at all this evening. Of course, I've been at work, so that's been one of the reasons why. But I just came home, and it's funny, when I got in my car after the gym, I expected that she would pick her head up and put it on the seat, as she always did. So I expected her to be there after the gym. That was really weird when she didn't put her head up. I got home, and I can remember that I used to... the reason I know that it's different is because this time when I came home, I knew that she wasn't here. I came through the door and I got to thinking, I gotta go get Coop. And I would walk through the house immediately to wherever it was she was. And this time, I rolled the blind shut, I shut the front door, I don't know, I moved something in one of the other rooms. But it's funny because when I used to come home, I would beeline straight to wherever she was. I'd go check in with her first off. That was the big thing that I did. That was my main reason for coming home, was checking in with her, making sure she was okay. And there's a bit of anxiety, coming home and just going straight for her. Where are you? Where are you? Like I couldn't get here soon enough to make it okay or attend to her needs. It's funny because I realize the difference now. And I realize how much my world revolved around her. The things that I did as soon as I got home. I fed her immediately. I checked in with her, then I fed her, then later I would get my food. It was not important that I ate first. Clearly I don't need to eat first. I could starve for a while. But for me, it was important that she be the top priority, and she always was. Always was. And so I noticed that today. And it's like, wow. And in fact, even on the drive home, I thought, if I wanted to go eat at a restaurant, I could. Because she's not home waiting for me. And she used to be. She used to be waiting for me to come through the door. In the last year, she's lost her hearing too, almost all of it. Whereas before, she would get up and come and come all the way to the door. Greeting who was ever there, barking, scaring the daylights out of anybody, usually, with that bark she had. But she was protecting her house. And then in the last, I don't know, 3 months, she didn't come to the door so much. I think it was partly because she couldn't. Her hips were getting bad. She was tired. And she couldn't hear. I would come home and I'd be shaking her. I'd be like, honey, wake up. She was just out, totally. She slept so deep. It was unreal. But she didn't hear me come home, and there's an alarm on the door, and the alarm sounds. She didn't hear that. She didn't hear me dropping my keys on a glass top table. She didn't know that I was here until I walked up to her. So those are some of the things that I'm noticing are different now, not having to be somewhere to take care of her. And the other thing that I noticed in my car is that I always had the music faced all the way to the front. Both of the front speakers were on, and I always kept it low because they say dogs can hear 400 times better than... No, that's their sniffer. They sniff 400 times better. Anyway, their hearing is a lot better than humans. I don't know the percentage or number or whatever. But, so I was always sensitive to that. And I kept the music in the front, speakers. And I think it was yesterday or day before that, I said, wow, I can actually listen to and I got a kick-ass stereo. It's an Infinity system. But for years, years, since she's been with me, I keep it up in the front. And even when she wasn't with me and I would go somewhere, I never switched it back because I didn't want to forget and have the bass beating, in the back with her. So I just always left it up front. And I think it was yesterday, I turned the music to be in the middle, so it's just as much in the front as it is in the back. And I realized that was another thing that I did for her. And I was happy to do it. So It's funny the things that you start to remember or you start to realize that you did for your pet. You know, that just goes to show you how much they mean to you. I mean, God, she was on my mind all day. I got a little keychain with her ashes in it, and I I held the keychain all day long. I put it around my first finger and I held it in my hand, and I held the keychain with her ashes in it all day. And maybe that'll go away, but I just feel like I want to be close to her. I got a beautiful urn, a beautiful keychain, and they cut some hair for me and gave me her hair and gave me about 5 different poems, you know, and some really interesting things. It was neat to get. I mean, nothing will ever replace her. But I think my sadness, my depression has started to lift, and now my thoughts are turning more like, oh, my mama, my baby. You know, I'm not crying just at the thought of her, which is exactly what I was doing all day on the 9th, all day on the 10th, and maybe earlier this morning. So it's the evening of the 11th, and I'm feeling a little bit better. I still look for her, though, in her spots where she lays. I'll show those to you real quick. So I put that chair there to kind of take, her bed used to be right there. And I put that chair there to help me like break my vision of what I expect to see there. And then this was her other spot. Right there in the hall. Now that's my mom's bedroom and this is my bedroom. And she slept between us all the time. That was her spot. And so I'm having a harder time with that spot than I am the other one. And I've been thinking that I probably need to put something in its place so I don't, you know, continue to think I'll see her there. So that spot has been hard. So I'm probably going to put my camera bag there or something. Make it easier. Anyway, just thought I'd share those things that I loved about my baby. And I worked on a couple of photos from a long time ago that I took. And I'm sending off to get like 16 by 20 prints. And I'll hang it in my room. She was a gorgeous dog. And I'll have those pictures to remember. So that's my report for December the 11th, 2013 about my girl Coop.